proximity is the condition to be close, to be nearby. And we can see it by 2 points of view. One is to be physically near, and this means that we can do something together because we are in the same place, we are in touch. But we have also the relational proximity. That means to be face to face, open, one to the other one, with a kind of mutual empathy, mutual willing to care for each other. So this term of proximity, for me and for many people, is a very powerful one. And it's a very powerful one because it gives us a direction that is the direction to move toward a society that should be, and we want to be, more just and ecological. But we could say, why are we talking about proximity? Proximity could be so normal. And if we look back in our history, before modernity, that means for us now, before the transportation systems, before the telephone, before the digital and the connectivity that we have today, there was no way to organize anything in a society, from the single family to the whole society, without being face to face, or at least to be in a condition to have the possibility to talk one with the other one directly. So proximity was the norm. What happened? It happened that for some reason that appeared very strong, a reason of hygiene, a reason of effectiveness, a reason of freedom, individual freedom, we start to use all our technology, all our capability in terms of organization of the system, and also all our design capability to create system in which it will be possible to do things without being close. And so in some way, for 1 century, we realized what we can call a society of distances. Now, after 1 century, we can see some unforeseen implication of the creation of this society of distance. Distance as a cost, as an environmental cost that we can see mainly on traffic, but not only on traffic. And it is also a social, psychological, and political cost, because it's very difficult to organize a society of people that are alone and separate, because we are social animals, so we like to be in a social context. And because if we are alone, we create what is called the city of loneliness, because the distance is creating lonely people. Concluding, we have to change this direction. So even though the mainstream is still moving toward distances, we have to move toward proximity at every level that is possible, even using the technology that we have, instead of using them to melt the social relationships and the proximity that we had in the past. On the contrary, to reorganize people, to create the possibility of people to be together and to do things together. Is this idea possible? Is viable? It's not easy, of course, because the mainstream is not going in this direction. But in the past 2 decades, let's say from the beginning of this century, we have had what we call the wave of social innovation based on people that have been capable to break the individuality, the hyper-individualism that was and is promoted by the mainstream culture and the social way of doing, and move in another direction, and move in the direction to meet each other, to do things together, to coordinate and to cooperate one with the other one. And in some way, this means to be nearby, to be in the proximity. And nowadays, we have not only individual ideas, but we have also wider programs, as if we talk about a new idea of welfare. That means a welfare based on the fact that also the community help each other, or a new idea of the city of 15 minutes, or as I like to call it, the city of proximity.
With the deep socioeconomic and demographic changes that have invested Western societies, Many more people than in the past need orientation and support in finding and organizing solutions for new social needs. Services like family assistance, home care, childminding, and so on, that are fundamental for the quality of life and that, for instance, allow parents of young children to work or older dependent persons to accomplish everyday tasks. Social services are typically a local responsibility, especially in Italy, and municipalities have been increasingly confronted with the need to rethink their organization to better cope with changing needs. The WIMI project dealt with this challenge in Milan. The project was funded by Fondazione Cari plus Welfare in Azione Call in 2015. The welfare department of the municipality of Milan coordinated a large and diversified network comprising other departments of the city administration, several third sector actors, and universities, including the Department of Architecture and Urban Studies and the Department of Design of Politecnico di Milano. The project aimed at innovating and expanding access to welfare support in two interrelated ways. A new online platform was launched for the matching of supply and demand of services and supports. In parallel, the project tested the creation of WIMI spaces. WIMI spaces are places located in different parts of the city out of the traditional sites of social services. Here, citizens can meet in person with social workers, get help in the use of the online platform, thus counteracting digital divides, and be reoriented to services or supports. WIMI spaces also aim to bring this kind of support closer to individuals and families who would otherwise never turn to social services. One of the pilot cases was WIMI San Gottardo in Municipio 5. To gain full visibility, it was located in a vacant shop with shop windows on the main street and close to the neighborhood schools, parks, and proximity shops. It hosts two different but connected functions. First function, a coffee bar, managed by a social cooperative working for the social and employment inclusion of people with mental disability. The coffee bar would have long opening hours and be frequented by a wide variety of persons. Second function, the WIMI space, that would be operating for a few hours a day, but thanks to the project visual identity, is always clearly recognizable. Spaces were designed not to be strictly separated, but rather blurred. The whole space can be used by the clients of the cafe when WIMI social workers are not in office. On the other hand, social workers are not confined in the WIMI corner and may meet the citizens while drinking tea in the cozy space. This is aimed at reducing the stigma of accessing social support and orientation, while also enhancing space quality of the social service, thus fully recognizing its value. At the same time, while they're having their coffee, clients of the cafe may learn about the existence of WIMI and find out that one of its programs and initiatives is fit for them or for someone they know. After the pilot phase, up to 20 WIMI spaces were created throughout the city in different kinds of settings, always through the partnership between the city welfare department and third sector actors. A common trait is the flexible use of spaces that can host different kinds of activities, such as events, courses, meetings, both offered by associations or cooperatives or self-organized by groups of citizens. Thus, the WIMI spaces are places where citizens can find answers to their social needs, but they are also places where citizens can bring their energies, resources, initiatives. The WIMI spaces had in fact also the purpose to underpin the development of mutual self-help, volunteers' participation, and more generally, active citizenship. Over time, the WIMI spaces have become points of reference for both local residents, associations, and welfare providers. We can therefore define the WIMI spaces as a crucial proximity social infrastructure that can be reinterpreted in the future to keep pace with the ceaseless social transformations that invest our cities.